take a look at, contrast some of the things that you see with regards to Moz with something like Twitter, where I think, Twitter's growth has clearly been stunted and even cut off by essentially the abuse of Twitter executives over believing in, I think, they call it free speech. I'd call it no curation whatsoever.
Right.
Right. And I think that has hurt Twitter tremendously. You see, especially Twitter's growth among women and people of color and people not in the United States and people who don't speak English, because they get just torn apart on this platform by trolls. And, one troll can create thousands of Twitter accounts and, blast a person's mentions feed. And because of this, I think Twitter has really, really suffered. And so Moz did the very opposite. We basically said, look, we believe in free speech. Mm-hmm. We're free to say the things that we are cool with on our site, and you're free to say the things we're not cool with, not on our site.
Right. Yeah. You thought about it ahead of time, basically, whereas Twitter really didn't seem to think that this would ever happen to them.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so sure. The more I read about Twitter's thing, the more I think there was this cadre of early employees and even one of the founders who just had this kind of unwavering libertarian sort of belief in how online communities should go, and I think that for the early part of their growth, it did help, and then that reinforced this notion that they should never curate or moderate anything, and now they,
well, they didn't want to be seen as, I don't want to say fascist, but they didn't want to be seen as strongholding, and they went the entire opposite direction, where, hey, we're not going to insert ourselves at all in the quality checks or the opinions thereof. And you did, I wouldn't say the opposite, but you certainly.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, people would come into Moz occasionally and say smart things, but in a rude way.
Right.
And we'd go, hey, sorry, that's not how it's going to be. We're either editing your comment or we're removing it. And while we appreciate, the intelligent discussion that you're bringing to the forum, this is not the style that we're going to tolerate. Right?
Yeah, sorry about that, Rand.
That was Doug Carr. He made your policy.
I knew I recognized that.